Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Tuesday morning trading session. Markets just opened up. Let me get you my screen. And it seems like it's a pretty active open, given what we've seen the last couple of days where things have been pretty quiet. The market seems to have left off. This is the NASDAQ, of course, here around the 45.20 price range, give or take a little bit. Fell off a little bit through the overnight. And now we're seeing a little bit of a bounce coming out of the open. So looks like traders quickly getting into that opening gap, that itty-bitty opening gap. And we'll see what kind of day we get today. Whether it's going to be a little bit more bullish than it has been, or perhaps it's going to remain bearish. We shall see. Right now, though, the buyer's showing up with strength. And here on the Falcon and our Sport Resistance Suite, you can see we're right back here to the median line. We should see a little bit of a reaction there, I'm thinking. Let's see what's going on with crude oil. Crude oil also rallying a little bit out of the open. Here's crude oil on the Falcon. And early on, about an hour before crude oil started trading, we got a trend change signal, but the signal really didn't trip until a few minutes before the market opened, and then about 10 minutes later, we got another signal. So crude oil a little bit on an uptick. We're into the hard edge on the Eagle right now. If you're looking at your crude oil Eagle, you're going to see that we're just hitting the hard edge now at around that 48, 60, 65 area. And gold. Here's gold now on the Falcon. Gold giving us a trend change signal, a nice little move lower after a very strong rally. You can see gold here coming off of the primary support, primary resistance, breaking through the resistance, a subsequent trend line touch, trend change signal, late filter entry, all kind of bunched together here. And a very good rally to the next resistance area where prices have turned over. So gold now looking for support. So if gold is bearish, that will tend to make the stock market a little bit more bullish as well. And they're just screaming out of here without any kind of secondary signal. That's not fair. Oh well, it is early. No, they're not going to give it to us. Come on. We need to see the sellers show up in order for us to generate a signal of some type. Oh boy. Well, it looks like the only real signal we had here on the Raptor, we had a soft edge buy about a minute or two before the open. No, right on the open. Right on the opening buzzer. We got well, I'm going to call it a rule of three just because it's had the test of the extreme, but I don't think I've ever taken a rule of one. So some pretty crazy buying, some pretty crazy bullishness out of the open. Could be a lot of profit taking too, you know. It may not necessarily be that the buyers are that strong. Rather, there could be a lot of profit taking as the market has been declining for the last couple of days. Good morning, Jim. Jim says the advanced decline numbers, we have just under 1,100 on the buy and just over 1,500 on the sell. And that would be take into account, remember, that little bit of an opening gap that we saw as well. Yeah, Jim's watching oil too. It says nice little pop-up. Yeah, it has. We're looking for them to find some kind of resistance before we can get in here with a sale or a signal. Well, we're finally getting a first micro-macro cross signal here, and watch, the sucker's going to run away on me. Can I cover it? Oh, I can't even cover the trade. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, all right, well, here we'll throw it on sim like this. I would delete the profit objective, although 44.30 I think is a resistance line, is it not? Yeah, we're into the primary. And after that, 44.36. So we got a little bit of room, but we're probably going to see a reaction now that we're closer to this or intersected this primary resistance line. That should be a pretty strong one. Well, there we go. That I sure hope it wasn't, but that very likely was the move of the day right there. We have seen the hawk fill our signal. So that first micro macro cross, as nerve-wracking as it would have been, okay, you could have got your $50 out of there on a single. Hardly seems worthwhile, does it, after watching the market explode to the upside like that? Yeah, I agree with you, Floyd. Floyd says you had to be in on the open on that one. Well, this is going to make things a touch more difficult now. We've seen the market decline for 2 days. We've just seen a huge rally out of the open. So are the buyers going to be in control today? There's a huge buying spike going through right here. That was probably around the open or just before it. All right, we're getting a macro pullback now. I really hope that gets into yellow bars because this is not going to be a fun signal to take. Because we have no structure down here. I can take the macro pullback. Getting in's not the hard part. The problem is, where do I want to cover this trade? You know, this is going to be too tight. I can't afford it down here. Well, I guess we'll pop in about halfways and hope for the best. We do have a couple attempts here on the high at the 44.32 mark. Oops. Okay, let's readjust our macro pullback because this one's looking a little bit more attractive now. In that we're going to look at another retest of the high here before the market possibly fails. Still not a very good signal. All right, there we go. We're filled on the macro pullback. Like I said, this isn't a real attractive signal to me, not something that's going to give me a warm fuzzy feeling. But we'll see if we can get a couple of ticks to the upside. Yeah. Yeah, they haven't found their bottom yet. All right, let's put that away. All right, I'm going to start to get a little bit more aggressive with my stops. I'm not going to bring them in too tight, as it would be very realistic to expect the market to fudge this 44.22 area by a tick or two before perhaps recovering again and heading higher. Remember, your stops are merely a safety net. Oh, the advanced decline almost dead even now. Jim says 1300 on the buy, 1350 on the sell. Come on, get up there, you stinkers. No, see, here they come. Now, I'm going to actually hold my stop back a little bit back to where it was. Because they're going to break here. You can see we're working a red bar buy signal. I could see them getting as low as 44.20 before perhaps trying to recover. Of course, I could be wrong. They could break this 44.22 area and just drop. All right, so this is a little bit more influential. This spot here around the 44.19 area where the buyers seem to have come in. I'd love to see one more bar tick higher here. Then we could roll our stops below here. If we fail support twice, well then I may as well take my hit. But come on, give me one more bar. Come on. Play nice. There we go. All right, so we got one more bar. I'll roll my stop just below there. We're working a first micro-macro cross lower, which we know is a high probability signal. I expect one more little downtick here somewhere, and if we start to get into yellow bars, I'm going to start to get more aggressive with my stops. Okay, there we go. We got the yellow bars. See, there's going to be a green bar sell or something show up here. And I just don't want to get stopped out on a slight little reversal here. That's what I'm trying my best to avoid. Come on, keep going. All right, let's go back with our parabolics. We're working that green bar sell now, so we found the point where the buyers and sellers are at each other. So this next little swing is going to be very important to try to ride that out. Oh, come on. So close. Okay, I'm going to hold my stop back here just a couple of ticks. Again, all I'm trying to do is avoid a premature stop out here on a little bit of a rebound off of this resistance area. Let's see if we're seeing any other signals produce themselves. Well, not yet. We're working a possible hard edge bounce here in the eagle. It's currently against the ATR. What I would do is I would take advantage of the second push on this bar. And this is still a tough trade, but what we're looking at is if this bar finishes on the high, it's going to flip the ATR over. So this bar here essentially becomes our signal bar. See that? How it flipped the ATR to the downside? So now everything is in sync. These types of trades, when the market is not giving us a whole lot of structure, it's really, well, I don't want to say it's gambling, but it can be pretty close to gambling. I'm going to roll my stops just below this little swing point now. As we're hovering below the break even and our first profit objective. Come on, get up there. Oh my gosh. There they go. Oh, whew. Man, that was hard work. They really did not want to cooperate on that one. Yes, yes, Jim, the old Schwingster muscle was getting exercised on that one a little bit. Joe wants me to pull over a chart, a particular chart. All right, let's see here. This is the CL, and we're working a macro pullback here also. Now, the problem with this market is similar to the NQ, where we've been in decline for a little while. And now we've had this recent little uptick. We're working a macro pullback signal. If you didn't take it on the hash mark, you do have a chance to get this one on a second push. The nice thing about taking it on a second push is you can usually get by with a slightly tighter stop. But the only thing I'm not liking about this right now is that the eagle is up against the hard edge. Let me bring over an eagle chart here. here's an issue. We're right into the hard edge, and of course this could come out, produce a green bar sell signal. Yeah, Tony, I know what you're saying. Tony says, I know I should not be predictive, but I feel we're into a sideways market for a bit. I think you could be right about that. The market has kind of been struggling. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get more aggressive with my stops here also. I don't want to leave my full amount in play. There we go. Let's go with that. Because we're also getting a red bar buy signal down here, we're back into the hard edge on the Raptor. Yeah, at least the volatility is up, like Jim says. At least we've got a little bit more action today. Compared to what we have been seeing anyhow. All right, well, here's a possible short for you. And the reason I'm not looking to, and again, I don't normally trade one market long, one market short, or one signal long, one signal short. If I'm already long here on the Eagle, I'm not usually looking to short as well. But I'm pointing this out to you. We have what is effectively a double top. And now we're coming back with a red bar buy signal. This is why I'm thinking selling instead of buying. A failure of this low should see the market retest at least the lows here and possibly go a lot lower. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete my profit objective and just see if we can, if this one doesn't slip a little bit lower. This whole area through here, 44.20 to about 44.22, significant support. .44 17.75 is technically our median line. See, this is why you don't want to be long one and short the other. One of these trades is going to be right. And I have had an instance in the past, not recently, but going back a couple of years, where I would actually be wrong on both trades. So what would happen is, let's say here on the Eagle, I would get stopped out, the market would decline enough, I would get stopped out here, and then the market would rally, and I would get stopped out here. So I get the double whammy. And that's another reason why you don't want to be long one and short the other. Jim says the bank index seems to be selling. Well, that'd be good for our hawk trade, not so good for the eagle trade. Well, I probably should have popped out with my profit objective here. I'm going to regret that, so I'm going to take this trade to a break-even type situation here soon. We would have hit the break-even trigger. We would have hit our high probability profit target. There's a reason we have high probability targets. And sometimes I try to get cute and run these trades out a little bit more. Yeah, they're going to give me a little tap here. Ooh, gonna catch a break. Okay, I'm not gonna let this opportunity get away. I'm gonna take this one to break even, and if it continues lower from here, I think we're gonna be all right. Yeah, so we did get stopped here on the Eagle trade. Again, kind of the double top. We tried it. It was a decent signal. It just did not have the follow through that we were looking for. Well, our short trade working out not too badly. We did get a signal here on the Falcon. I noticed I just missed this little trend change signal right here. So that one I would, again, encourage you to cover near the high, near that swing high, because of the lack of structure here, and that's just hovering above our first profit target. The Raptor a little bit late this morning with a signal. Technically, this was the early trend change signal. It was not easy to spot, however, because this was the test of the extreme. I would have expected another little hiccup here, another little uptick or two, and then the market to come down with a sell signal. That would have been a more comfortable signal for me to take. But as it turns out, it did have some follow through to it. Now, if you're following the Raptor, I would be waiting for that cloud crossover signal. Let the market come back here into the cloud, show that the signal is going to hold. And then look at taking it. Oh, getting really good follow through on this one now. Our hawk trade working hard to get back toward the low of the morning. Tony's asking me about crude oil, if it's looking bullish on a daily chart. Let's take a look here and allow me to build a daily chart for crude oil. Okay, so here's crude oil on the daily. And the first thing I like to do when I'm looking at a daily chart is I like to throw a trend line on there. See where the market seems to be reacting to the trend lines. And I think I would end up drawing it something like this. And you can kind of see this little bit of a wedge that we've had in crude. So yeah, a lot of congestion through here. We've broken this little intermediate trend line. But you see this? This looks like a larger channel, doesn't it? If we shoot our trend line backwards, it's going to look like this. This could actually, if the market starts to break down here, Tony, I think we could see crude trading back to 46. Just kind of eyeballing where it may tail off to. Now, before you get all excited and start shorting crude oil, I think we need to see a little bit of a retest here. You know, obviously there's strong support. Obviously the market is in an uptrend. But to see prices slip back to 46, shoot, it was only a few months ago they were down here at 31. So 46 would not be an unreasonable target. And then if prices got back down here to 46, I would be looking for support to come in and for the market to honor that 46 level and for the buyers to show up once again. So right now, crude oil a little indecisive. You know, you got this super tight little short-term trend line. But I'll tell you, if we see a little bit of a hiccup here and the market trade into this little itty-bitty gap, that could make for an interesting selling opportunity. Yeah, we might actually see crude oil slip a little bit here over the next few weeks. Don't quote me on it, but it is, you know, it's got to be concerning to the buyers that the market wedged up like this and now all of a sudden broke down. We're seeing a last-ditch effort on the part of the buyers to rally the market now. So to see them push it up, get into the gap, and then fall off here to the what would probably be 46 or close to it, 46, 47, in that neighborhood. That is entirely possible. Of course, that's the beauty of trading, is that for every person that sees the market as bullish, another person sees it as bearish. There's always somebody on the other side of your trade. All right, well, we're seeing a push now at the lows of the morning. And really, the market has been a little reluctant to give us some decent signals. All right, well, we're getting a little bit of reaction now to the lows of the morning. Okay, so a little bit of a hiccup there, but pretty decent move. Although, like I say, the signals have been a little bit fuzzy this morning. All right, well, did we get our pullback? No, we didn't. Shoot. I guess in hindsight, this was the signal right here. Not much of a cloud crossover pullback signal on the Raptor. Sorry, folks. My back is killing me today, and I'm having a really hard time sitting still and concentrating. Well, we're just kind of waiting for the next signal now. I suspect we're going to see the market come here into the hard edge. Now that we've come off of the lows, I would expect another retest of the lows, and whether or not that would lead to a failure of the downtrend, I should say, or a retest of the low and a soft edge buy is really tough to say at this point. I suppose if you wanted, you could even consider where we're at right now a great big double bottom. But in spite of that early rally, I think the sellers are maintaining control today. Could be the buyers just kind of blew it out of the water. All right, well, here we've got a macro pullback signal. So the hawk seemingly giving us the most signals to choose from here this morning. Again, the lack of structure is going to make this a very difficult trade to take. I'm going to try to risk it back here, and I'm going to try to run it out again. We've just hit the break-even trigger. And if we can get down here just a little bit further, I will take this trade to break even. Come on, there we go. All right, so we'll take this trade to break even now. We have hit our profit target, and all I'm looking for really from here on out is a retest of these lows, maybe even a breakout. I would love to see 4,400. I think that's what the market is gunning for today. And there we go. Come on, give us 44. Here it comes. Here it comes. We're going to kiss it in a second. 44.5. Come on. Oh, don't you dare. Don't you dare flinch at 44.01. Oh. And folks, I'm terribly sorry, but I think after this trade closes, we're going to have to close up the room. My back is really sore. Yes, I'm going to see the doctor later today. They've got me all lined up to fix me up. But I'm afraid I can't sit here for too much longer right now. Yeah, Phil says, the grandkids? No, I wish I could. I wish I could blame them. No, the last few months, my back has just been giving me a really hard time. And every once in a while, I get these flare-ups. And that's what I'm having right now. Usually I go see the chiropractor and he slaps me around a little bit and I'll be better for a little while, but I'm not getting any relief right now. Yeah. Jim says, is it the honeydew or golf? No, it's neither. I think it's just getting old. All those things that you do when you're young and stupid and you think you're going to live forever. All right, well, there they go. They stopped me out. You could expect a rally if the market is going to try to get above these highs back here at 44.12. We are obviously seeing some reaction now as the market responded to this 4,400 area. Again, I think it's more profit taking than active buying. The market is still very much in a downtrend today, so don't get too crazy about loading up on the buy side. But a move back here above 44.12, I think we could see another rally. So if we get a green bar sell here, you may want to set up for the failure. And here on your Raptor, keep a lookout for a soft edge buy signal. And the Falcon, well, we'll have to wait for a trend change signal on the Falcon itself. All right, you guys, I do apologize. A quick reminder, tomorrow is the open house session, so we're going to be meeting at the alternate venue, and I will see you guys then. Bye for now.